Hola, hola, Senorita Christopher here, coming to you with another exciting lesson about quantity. Today, we're going to learn how to ask how many of a certain object there is and to answer how many there are. So we have two key phrases or two key terms that we need to know. First, we have cuantos hay or cuantas hay if it's feminine. And that just simply means how many blank are there. It can be how many pencils, how many people, how many books, how many markers, how many houses. Anything that you put in the middle of that phrase is asking how many there are. Now, to respond to that question, you would say I. Now, I know there's an H in that word, but remember, the H at the beginning of the word in Spanish is silent. So it's just I. And that means there is or there are. So if I want to answer the question about how many objects there are, I would say I and then the number in Spanish. Here's an example. ¿Cuántos marcadores hay? Which means how many markers are there? And so if we were to count how many markers there are, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. So we want to respond with there are 4 markers. First, we have to put the word I, which means there are. Then we put the number, which is cuatro. And if we see on our screenshot from our vocab list, that cuatro is 4. And then we want to specify which object we're talking about, which are marcadores, and we have marcadores. Hay cuatro marcadores. Good. All right, let's do another example. ¿Cuántos hay? In this example, we are asking how many pencils are there? Notice the specificity of the question says, ¿Cuántos lápices hay? Well, instead of counting how many pencils there are, it indicates to us on the box that there are 72 pencils. So we need to say that there are 72 pencils. To say there is or there are in Spanish, we use the word, that's right, I. And then we're going to put the number and then we put the word pencils. We have hay 72 lápices, which translates to there are 72 pencils. And if you're wondering how I was able to determine the number 72 in Spanish, I just broke 72 into two numbers. I broke it into 70 and 2. First, I found the word for 70 in Spanish, which is setenta. And then I added y, the number 2, which is dos. So putting those two numbers together, we have setenta y dos. And 70 plus 2 is 72. So there are 72 pencils. Whew, that's a lot of information. I know. Let's take a moment to pause and digest this and think about it. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave a comment and I'll be sure to respond back. All right, now that we've had a moment to think and let everything digest and to process it, let's do one more example. All right, in this example, they ask us, ¿Cuántas hojas de papel hay? And if you remember from our earlier lesson with our school supplies vocab list, hojas de papel is sheets of paper. So they're asking us, how many sheets of paper are there? Well, we can't really see visibly how many sheets of paper there are because they're all in a stack inside of one pack. But if we read the package, we can see that there are 100 sheets of paper. So to say that there is or there are, we would have to say I. Then we look up the number in Spanish. The number for 100 is cien. And then we put the object, which is hojas de papel. So our total and complete answer is hay 100 hojas de papel. Now, a couple of things to note about this particular question is that the word changed from cuantos with a OS to cuantas. The reason being is because the word that we are referring to, the quantity we're trying to determine, is feminine. Hojas de papel. Hojas de papel. Another thing to note is that we don't put the un or the una like there it is on the vocab list. We don't say how many a sheet of paper. We just say cuántas hojas de papel because we don't really know that it's one sheet of paper. It could be more. So that's why we completely eliminate that from the question. But that's just a little technical thing that I wanted to add at the end. We don't have to worry about that too much right now. I just want to specify that because in my experience, when students are answering the question, they tend to want to write the un or the una in the answer because it's on the vocab list. But I'm trying to tell you that the un or the una is not needed, especially because if it's more than one of that particular object. Una means a, singular, one. If there's more than one, it would be contradictory to say there are 2 A pencils or there are 5 pencils. So it's not needed. You can just simply write the name of the object. All right. I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. I don't want to confuse you. I want to leave it on a clean slate where we are because I feel like you have a firm understanding of how to answer the quantity in Spanish. So thanks for listening to this lesson. Stay tuned for more. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can get notifications of other lessons. All right, until next time, adios, bye-bye.